Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to round 9 of the RSF1 first season in F3, the last instalment for the week. And I'm Primus Gaming, and joined with me is Master Krog.
So good evening, everyone. Looks like we've got an interesting qualifying session here as the rain is falling here in Austria. So it's a pretty simple circuit. You've only got the 8 corners to contend with, but they can be very treacherous in the wet. So we're going to see the drivers navigate and hopefully put in some pretty competitive times in these wet conditions, which to me look I'd probably say intermediate tyres to be out on. Would you say?
I'd say it looks like light rain, so yeah, Inter's definitely. I mean, we'll get a weather report on the... we've lost Element Snow and Joshua. They will have a chance to rejoin before everything goes on. Anyways, it is going to be interesting, definitely. We've had a lot of action going on into the race week for Austria. We had we had some really good battles from F2. F1 had some good battles as well. F4 had some really good fights. You know, it's been a really good week for Austria, and if I'm correct, no race restarts so far in Austria. So,
well,
so far so
as
good.
Always, touch wood. No, you can
touch wood.
Never be too certain on that one.
But it looks like we've got a couple of new faces in F3. I wasn't here last week, for personal reasons, so RSF1 King Tomo took after me. So a few new people that's in this league I can see is... Well, Easton won his second race in RSF1 last week. Tomo's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Williams, he's a new one. Ace Ear having been transferred to F4, from F4 to F3, so welcome them. So a farewell from F4 to Ace Ear, and good luck in F3. It looks like everyone's going on the dry compound tyres. Is this the right call?
I mean, I personally wouldn't risk it. Because as I said, it's a fast track, Austria, and you can get caught out. But as we've always mentioned, we don't really have proper weather tools when it comes to commentating. But to me, the amount of water that you're seeing, and I mean the cars aren't kicking up too much spray, but you're still going to be. Yeah, Easton comes straight back in on the hards.
He's going for it though. DRS is still enabled, so it might just still be slick weather. Good evening, Rebster. And the final tilt says, give me a good race. Porter, Moronix, Ted First, and Old Mancy.
Having Twitch difficulties.
Are you having trouble loading it up?
No, I can get it up, but it's just I can't get the chat to work for some reason.
That's fine. Yeah, it's because you joined a little late. You'll only get the comments after. Anyway, so we're on board with 40. He's just gone through the final DRS zone, well, the second DRS zone on the track, going down into Schlossgold. The rain is starting to come down a little bit, so I think soon these dry weather tyres might not be the best call, but it might also help 40 secure a place into Q2. So down through Rausch into the Verth curve. That's pretty nice there through. Now through turn 8. So going through...
It's definitely dry now.
Rint. Yes, I think it might just be sort of slightly light rain. We'll get a weather report soon, hopefully, from
it could intensify, but it's definitely dry enough. As 40 puts in a
109.7
by 9. It's not it's not super quick for the softs. You'd expect maybe about a second off that, but of course you've got to bear in mind it is wet and it is slippery out there, so conditions are against the drivers.
Oh, he's got his fuel light on.
So that could mean
Yes. Did you hear the news of something new coming to the league on Fridays, Master Crop?
No, I haven't.
We are doing a podcast tomorrow. 8 o'clock tomorrow, guys. It will be featuring this man here, Top Notch, myself, and RSF1 King Tomo. So we'll be... it looks like Top Notch is taking it into the pits as I was giving him a little bit of screen time. But yeah, we'll be trying to bring that in for Fridays. So stay tuned, guys. I think this will be happening every reoccurring Friday. So we'll be talking about... It's almost like sort of post-race week, post pre-race week. So, discussing everything that's happened in the previous races, as well as real-time F1 and other topics that, we can... bring up for the podcast. But it'll be my first ever time being in a podcast, so I'm excited. But please, guys, stay tuned.
Yes, you first time in a podcast then. That's always a first. Yeah. I mean, first time for everything, I suppose. Just quickly nodding back to real-time F1. It is arguably the best circuit on the calendar this weekend. A personal favourite of mine.
Singapore.
And it feels like last week I was there, in and around the paddock. So how quickly time has gone, and I really wish I was there this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, do keep in mind that there's always next year. I'm hoping
next
to
year's books. Don't worry.
Oh, you already got it planned.
I had instant regret after not doing this year, and straight away booked next year. I was like, yeah, I can't miss that.
Well, I do have to let you know, though. Originally, I found it hard to like Singapore. Falcon Legends of a 195. Well done to the Ferrari driver. I actually found it hard to like Singapore. I just generally wasn't good at the track when I played the games, and I just didn't like it. And then recently, joining RSF1, we had to do practice on Singapore and stuff. And then after time, it just grew on me. And also the fact that it's a night race. I love night races. Watching it on the TV, as well as racing on it nowadays. I'm growing to like Singapore. I do have to say, it's not my favourite track. I have my favourite track, but I definitely like it.
No, I've got to say it's up there for me. Definitely one of the favourite track, and of course, I owe a lot to the F1 game after. Because every F1 race, I don't know if people are familiar, they have an esports competition where you set the quickest lap time over the course of the weekend, and then the quickest 10 go into a race on the Sunday, and the winner wins the VIP badge. So we've got, wow, that's the time I was expecting to see on the softs. Well into the sevens.
Definitely drying.
It's stopped raining now as well.
So you win like a VIP thing. Is that to the actual F1 paddock?
Yes, so I was lucky enough to win the race, and I won a VIP pass for the race day. So that was hands down, possibly, well, that was an incredible experience, being in the pit lane amongst all that, and then under the podium, and that kind of spurred me on to achieve the accreditation I've pushed for this year and been lucky enough to attend 2 races. So. It's a magical thing, the F1 paddock, and if you can get in there, I definitely recommend it. But it's an amazing place.
We're aiming to go to Monza next year.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, I want to try and go to Monza, and me and my brother, we want to go all in. So we're not just going to get any... See, Moronix, he sets the fastest lap of the session, and instantly comes back for 6.
That's a 1.7 second track is definitely improving. We will be into the 5s before we see the end of Q1.
No, the 4s are the fastest time. I definitely know the likes of Moronix will get to the 104s, because 105s are sort of
in 9 minutes?
Definitely. Because do keep in mind, in F4, Alco Saints, my teammate in Red Bull, he achieved, I think it was a 104.6 in Q3 back in the qualifying. And that was F4 pace. So that was the F4's best lap time set, and Alco Saints went through to win the race. So I have a feeling, especially in Austria, I know we have to be careful because of the wet conditions, but if someone can get up in the front with the qualifying, it could definitely help with keeping up ahead, because as soon as the race began in F4, and I think also in F2, whoever was really in first just took off and just stayed gone.
Yeah, it's an interesting... Oh, Moronix pushing the limits into the pit lane. So he shouldn't need to come out again in this session, but we've still got a lot of drivers that haven't set time, so definitely want to keep an eye on this one. Ferrari boy's looking relatively quick as well, so arcing back
we could potentially see Fordy with a second podium for the season, because do you remember Fordy got his first ever podium back in Monaco?
Yeah, Monaco was sadly one of the races I missed, which I was gutted for because it's my best track. No. The yellow flag, who's
probably just slowing cars.
Yeah, it's Falcons. 40 goes into the fives. Top notch immediately into the lower five. So 5.331 from top notch.
Ace Ear is now going to go around this last corner into the Red Bull Mobile. Goes a bit wide coming out the last corner. And Ace Ear sets a 106.8. So I think he might harvest and maybe go again.
Ooh, Falcons getting right out the way, but you got to be careful stopping there. You know, you're asking to get yellow black flag for if you stop there for too long. I mean, I understand he's getting out the way, but that's... Eesh.
Falcon, look how much he's worn those soft compound tyres. 5 laps in.
I don't really know what Falcon's doing, to be honest. He's driving around on the grass.
Do you understand that everyone would always be shunning the soft compound in Austria because everyone knows the soft compound normally can only do 8 laps, maybe 7. In Austria, they could actually go on for a good amount of time because
they ran for a
in F2 and 4, in F2 when the rain transitioned, a load of drivers went onto the soft compound tyre, and yesterday in the rain in F4, Spiral Acerfacer put on the soft compound tyre when the transition happened about lap 18 and rode them all the way from lap 18 to 36 to finish the race.
Yeah, they are. It's quite durable. Tyre wear around here isn't as much of a concern as it always is made out to be. So that's another factor to bear in mind. Of course, these are effectively the free tyre. So these tyres will do these laps and then be taken to the Pirelli guys out the back and taken apart and redone for the race. Putting a fresh new bit of rubber on there. Of course, you've got the shinier new release agent this year, which gives the tyres their shiny gleam as they come out of the garage. So Moronix is interestingly coming out again. So obviously he feels that 106 dead isn't safe enough.
A 105.5. Well done from Porter. That was a really good lap. Oh, camo! 105.3.
Yeah, this is definitely a drying track. Wouldn't surprise me if we see all 19 cars going round as the flag comes out.
So I had a question for you.
The sun comes out.
So obviously it's all gonna. Oh, Ace Ear moves up to 9th place, getting past Falcon Legends. So next year, F1. A real F1. We're talking real time. Robert Kubica, not confirmed for Williams. You know, he even said himself he's not going to race for Williams. Although Haas have continued with Romain Grosjean.
I wondered how long it would be before we got onto this.
Yeah, and also keep in mind though, now Haas is no longer Rich Energy Haas. They are now just Haas F1 team. Because the contract with Haas with Rich got terminated. Sorry.
You can't blame them for that with the absolute tomfoolery that Rich Energy were going around doing. So that's understandable. I mean, I believe it's the first mid-season sponsorship deal break for around 20 years. Now, don't quote me on that, but yeah, it was obviously not working out with the Haas's bizarre lack of race pace. Because of course, some tracks it works and some tracks it really doesn't. But no, I'm
order to P5.
Yeah, I'm not. To be fair, I'm not that shocked about the whole Romain Grosjean thing. I know it's caused a fair bit of uproar. I was a little bit surprised with
Kevin Magnussen actually. Romain obviously has got a good relationship with the team. But Kevin has had quite a few problems where Gunther Steiner had to step in a few times to sort of help correct the situation. Oh, Moronix, yep, second place over 105.3. So Camo's sitting comfortably in first place.
The thing to remember with Kevin Magnussen is he's a solid race driver.
Oh,
he
yeah.
gets the
He has a
results
bit of
on
a
the Sundays
hot
when he
temper,
doesn't
though.
throw his toys out the pram.
Oh, we got a car going off the track. That was a Renault. I think that might have been Old Mancy. Anyway, so I am actually looking forward to next year's season because, you know, there's going to be slight changes to the cars. We're going to see the introduction of the Dutch Grand Prix, Zandvoort, and the Vietnamese Grand Prix. So 2 new tracks. I think it's confirmed that 2020 will have the most races in an F1 calendar of all time.
Yep, 21 races. So
22.
it's a lot of strain. No, it's only 21, isn't it?
I think it's 22. I think it's either 21 or 22, but it's definitely confirmed to be the most races of all time in the season.
It's kind of mad because it puts the teams under a hell of a lot of pressure.
A bit of both, actually. Stress and pressure.
There we go, then. Write that one down. Collins Dictionary. But yeah. No, it's an interesting one because Zandvoort is, I think, the one everyone's worried about.
Element Snow's pulled over in a bit of an odd place.
Ooh, is he going to reverse up the pit lane?
No, he did purposely move out the way to let people go by, but it's because he went. If that was real F1, that would have definitely been a fine or a black flag for the driver because, you know, you're not allowed to go over the pit lane entrance, like the gap between the track and the pit lane.
Q2's just we'll get on to the missing black flag after what Vettel did in Q2, but we'll finish off with the season discussion for next year first. Zandvoort is... There's a lot of talk in the F1 paddock of Zandvoort being an utter nightmare and it being very similar to Paul Ricard, because Paul Ricard has one road in, one road out. Zandvoort is the same, and it's built on a nature reserve, so they can't extend the boundaries. So there's talk of them having to install a highway down the beach to get people in and out. That's what I've heard. Yeah, as in driving down the beach to get people in and out of the circuit, because the roads around the session won't be able to. Ooh, is that a crash from Fordy?
Did Fordy retire under his own power? Have a look in the driver's race director. Did Fordy just crash?
Why can't we see Fordy? I don't know.
If it says a technical issue or something like that, he did crash. If there's nothing on Fordy, he's just retired.
He's retired by the looks of things. That's a brave place. I don't think he's safe there.
He might be okay. Do keep in mind that the people that still need to set a lap, which we're on board with now, or we got a racing point running wide after of the Worth curve, that was flaming, and DPS Racing is now going through the Red Bull Mobile to come and take what position? 17th place.
He'll go again.
Oh no, sorry, no, he was harbouring. He wasn't doing a proper lap there because he was stockpiling the energy. So
here we go then.
DPS Racing is going for it here. So I'll let you run on board with DPS.
So it's quite an interesting track, as in the dynamic really of Austria is there's only really 2 major braking zones. The rest is kind of lifting off and using the engine braking as you drop down through the gears. So this is of course the second DRS straight, which is where we see most of the overtakes happening into the race. So you've got turn 3 and turn 4. And then you come into the twisty middle section. So this is the bit you've got the Max Verstappen grandstand on your left-hand side, which of course erupted when he won the Austrian Grand Prix earlier on in the year. And then two corners to finish off the lap, which are damn fun corners to drive through. You drop down the gear, very little brakes, and then you drop down another gear and you just flow the car through. Here we go, he's going to be to the line. He's going to have a nice little toe. Pops in P5.
Nice.
Are you sure you want to say 40 safe?
Up in front. He also got out of Q. He got into Q2, so I'm sure the Red Bull driver will be happy. Ace Ear on his debut
down to 18.
F3 is out. So we've got to look at Element Snow because he is currently. Falcon Legends was actually in provisional pole for a much
Yeah, he was. That's how much the trackers. Yeah, 40
makes it through the skin of his teeth.
So Ferrari and Old Mansley as well. That's surprising.
Oh my god. Well done, Porter. Porter
that is the
is getting a
beauty
load of cheer.
of a drying track. So that is,
So-
yeah. That's,
Oh, a car's going out of the session because Joshua is having problems coming back into the session. So obviously, if Joshua rejoins, he will be in last, because he didn't attend the qualifying because he lagged out. Element Snow, Old Mancy, Ace Ear on his F3 debut, and Falcon Legends are out of qualifying 1. So Eyes the best actually for a moment there, snatched first place there in Racing Point, followed by Tomo's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And surprisingly, and I'm not saying this to be like, I'm not trying to sound like contradicting, mean or anything, but Camo, I'm actually surprised Camo got into third place. It's a really good drive from Camo. That's his best qualifying he's done so far.
I mean, it's all still quite a lot on the board to play with. I think we'll definitely be into the 4s as we go into Q2. But this next session coming up, of course, is the one where we decide the starting tyres. So the quickest lap you set on these tyres will dictate your starting tyres at the start of the race. So we might see a lot of drivers coming out and trying the mediums, which is what I'm expecting to see. Or maybe someone will risk it and go for the hards, but they've got to be confident in their pace, because if you get it wrong and you drop out, you are mid-pack going into a very tight turn 1. So that's not the most ideal place to be.
Can we get a weather report for the rain?
Rain in the race.
Camo! Rain in the race. Oh my god.
So in that case then, we will see drivers coming out on softs for this session, because if it's a wet start, then obviously the dry tyres won't be valid. So we will see, I'd expect to see all the drivers coming out on softs for this session here. Just to make sure.
Back in F4, I did the same, because we were going for a light rain start. And I went on to the soft compound tyres, and because I knew there was no point going on to the mediums or the hards, because that would just wear a set of tyres that could potentially come in handy for the race. So I slapped on soft compound, and I pushed it out. So although it looks like Eastern, Duffalump, and DPS Racing, I don't think they've gotten the memo that it's going to be a wet race start. So it could be
just
dangerous
doing
for them.
Installation laps.
They'd be a little bit risky. I mean, we have got 15 minutes left, but.
Yeah, as you say, you don't want to burn up the mediums, which you might need in the race.
Oh, it's heavy. It's not even inters. It's full wets.
So this could be a very interesting race then.
Because
the visibility this year in the wet is
it's appalling.
That's
even in
putting it lightly.
intermediate conditions.
As in, you can't see a damn thing.
No, literally, the only thing that you can really use for reference as you're going into the corners, and even then, if you've got the dynamic racing line, because I've got mine on corners only, so I can see when it's time to brake, and it always pops up just about a bit before you reach the meter boards, and sometimes all the spray covers that up, so all you can see is a flashing red light from the car harvesting.
You have to brake well before the actual braking zone, especially at the start of the race. So we're going to want to be seeing sensible driving at the start if it is heavy rain, because, as I said, heavy rain, visibility is very poor. The cars will slide around a lot, so hopefully we won't see everyone pile driving into turn 1.
I'll do an on-board with a Braver Container. Let's have a little go of him. So Braver Container being the first across the line in Q2, so going across the start, finish straight. So he needs to get a good run into turn 1, the Nicky Lauda curve, a little bit of poor visibility there from the sunshine gleaming off the hill, but he still manages to make a good run nonetheless, so that was a good move. Going up the hill climb through turn 2, because this technically counts as a corner, and then going through into Ramus into turn 3, so nice cut across the line there. You've got to be careful not to be too heavy on the throttle coming out at turn 3, so into the DRS zone, now going down the hill through turns 4, this is technically turn 4, and now turn 5, going into Schlossgold, a little bit too much on the inside there. Caught the curb on the inside. Now into Roush, so you've got to make sure you slow down to about 5th here. Yeah, you went down a little bit too late. Now into the Verf curve, a 105.4 set by 40. Now going over turn 8, so that was a good move over turn 8. can't catch the curb too much, otherwise that could send you off. And now you've got to chuck it down into Rindt, and now the Red Bull Mobile. Oh, cut the corner a little bit too much, I think. He went a little bit deep there going in, but Braver Container, and did invalidate the lap time indeed. He did cut the last corner, which invalidated his lap time just at the very last second. So unlucky there from Braver Container. There we are. So Easton's now on the lap. Are you still there, by the way, Krog?
Yep. Yeah, I am. Sorry, I was just mid-drink.
That's all right, mate. That's all
I
right.
didn't want to gurgle
like
everywhere. Oh, Camo's left.
All camo lagged out.
Camo's lagged out.
If he can get an invite back to the session, you know, he'll still be able to attend. If not, he might get knocked out of Q2.
So, I mean, while we're kind of in the mid zone, while everyone's starting to set laps, can we talk about the race in Italy just quickly?
The Italian Grand Prix, yeah.
The Italian Grand Prix, indeed, from 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago?
No, it was last week. It was last week.
I honestly can't remember.
No, it wasn't last week.
No,
It was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Hold
yeah.
the phone. Let's have a look.
Oh, I'm holding the controller, so no phone.
So
Camo's back in the session. That's good to see.
No, it was 2 weeks ago. 8th September. So 2 weeks ago.
Charles Leclerc winning in Monza.
What a scene!
To be honest, it is amazing because it's the first time a Ferrari has taken the podium since Fernando Alonso did.
Was the first Ferrari
2011?
win? No, it's 2010.
Yeah, first Ferrari win in Monza. Yeah, 2010. So 9 years on, and a
9.
Ferrari finally won in Monza. And I tell you what, nothing was more satisfying than hearing the mix of the Monaco national anthem and the Italian national anthem mixed together.
No, definitely that was, and it was a hell of a race as well. I mean, you had the absolute farce of qualifying, which was just hilarious to watch because I don't know if I speak for everyone, but as league racing, you kind of know how long it takes to get round to do a lap and how much you need to leave the garage with. And they all left it so late. I was sat there watching it. I was thinking, none of these are going to make it. They're not going fast enough. And lo and behold, no one did.
Except for Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, but it's a shame that he didn't have a toe. I'd have loved to have seen Sainz on pole. Sainz just popping it on pole.
It's because, though, everyone wanted toe because Kimi Raikkonen crashed in Q3 and that red flagged the session. And they're all probably contesting to see about maybe removing qualifying from F1 altogether. But the thing is, that's not the sport's fault. That's the team's. I, for one, love F1, but that's all their fault because they decided to wait it out thinking, oh yeah, we want a toe of someone. That's them playing strategy games. That's not because
and
qualifying
don't forget
didn't
the
have
drivers
time,
as well. Hulkenberg went straight on the chicane. Vettel was trying to get everyone out the way.
Yeah, and everyone was complaining about. I mean, Lewis Hamilton. You know, he's a champion. You know, he's a good driver, but he kind of was pointing the gun at
he's a good driver.
The Ferrari team.
He's blooming insane.
I know, but like he pointed the blame gun at Ferrari when in reality it's actually the Renault of Nico Hulkenberg as well as one of the Racing Point holding up the pack.
But can I just? There was a point where both Ferraris were in front and they both braked. Vettel slammed on his brakes just coming up to coming off the Curva Grande.
Vettel was ordered to allow Charles to cross to go past him, and then Charles Leclerc didn't get the order at the time to pass Sebastian. So Sebastian got the order, slowed down. Charles at the time didn't get the radio message, so Charles was sticking behind Sebastian until eventually Charles got told to pass.
No, I think the way I summed it up was, it's quite amazing. You have teams at the pinnacle of sport, which is all revolved around timing, with some of the most advanced timing equipment in the world, with some of the most advanced machinery in the world, sponsored by some of the best watch brands in the world, and none of them could tell the time.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a funny one. And then, just quickly brushing on before we get into the hot end of Q2, should Vettel have been black flagged for what he did?
I personally think that he wouldn't receive a black flag because yes, he span out on his own power, but then again, Camo again at 105 dead. Provisional pole for another qualifying session for a moment.
Well, the Red Bull Ring here in Austria.
Yeah, we could see a potential win for Camo today. But anyways, going back onto the topic, so Vettel did spin out again. This is the second time in a row in Monza, like second time in a row of the year. He span out. Everyone has a spin out. I'm not going to say, he's getting too old or anything like that. Everyone just mucks up. Kimi Räikkönen, he crashed. Everyone spins. I mean, Valtteri Bottas back in Germany, he span out, hit the wall. Everyone does spin, but he did dangerously re-enter the track, which, in my thoughts, he's a 4-time F1 World Champion. I think he should have known better. Unfortunately, that led Lance Stroll to spin out, and then almost take out Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso.
Honestly, it was one of those things that after considering what happened in Spa, where a car got flung back onto the track and collected by another, it was one of those things where I couldn't watch. And that's why I think because the TV director got quite a bit of slate for cutting away from it. But I think he thought there was about to be a massive crash.
Well, do keep in mind the Ascari chicane is a high-speed chicane.
It's 160, 170 miles an hour.
Same speed, which is what happened to the unfortunate crash between Antoine Hubert and Juan Manuel Correa. So, it's the same speed, and I mean, I actually don't have any faults with the camera crew doing that because, we don't want to actually show a fatal crash on the telly to a bunch of people watching because, I think the last time someone accidentally did that, it wasn't within intention, was the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix with Jules Bianchi in the safety car.
Yeah, no, it would. Personally, I think Vettel should have been black flagged for that, and Stroll as well. Because at that speed, for him to just roll back onto the racing line like that, it was very dangerous. And then Stroll
Stroll should have. I think Stroll did spin out because of Sebastian. Sebastian span out on his own.
Stroll still did the same thing.
He did do the same thing, but he did get a penalty for doing that, and Gasly being the unfortunate driver at the end of it. But the whole thing was because Sebastian span out.
Yeah, it was the thing that made me laugh was Stroll on the radio. He just came back onto the track like a maniac. Proceeds to do exactly the same thing. But no, it was an interesting weekend for Formula One, and I do hope Vettel finds his form again, because he is a great driver and he is such a nice guy. He's one of the nicest drivers.
Have you met Sebastian?
Yes, I have indeed.
Ooh.
He's one of the nicest guys in the paddock. He's always got a smile on. So it's yeah. Hopefully we'll see him get back on top of things, and again he's going to be haunted by Canada, which is a whole different box of frogs, but we won't go into that because we'll be arguing about that all night.
So now we're in the hot zone for Q2. So Camo is in pole with a 105.0. RSF on Flaming is in second with a 105.1. Top Notch third with a 105.1. DPS Racing 105.2. Tomo's 105.3, 40 105.4, and 40's even said in the chat, gone for a smoke, feeling safe, regretting it now. Duffalump is in 7th with a 105.4, Porter is 105.5, Ted First 105.5, Braver Container 105.7, so all the drivers from 11th to 1st is within a 9/10 margin of each other. Do keep in mind, 105 is a good time around Austria.
And not only that, it's 5/10 separating the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. 5/10.
And a 10th separating the top 3.
I'm happy to say we've got 20 viewers for the stream. So hope you're all enjoying the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Me and Krog certainly are happy to see so many faces watching the stream today.
So just arcing back to the stream, is there anything anyone in particular wants to know about anything, or Anything?
Oh,
Any
Easton!
questions?
He
105
beats Camo's time
by
by 9 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, 500ths of a 100th of a second. It is close
Literally.
at the top.
9 thousandths is like, that's just like barely anything. But like in F1,
But that's the kind of gaps you get on a short track. A short track with minimal braking. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be very close. And could we even see the provisional pole sitter from Q1, who set the quickest time, dropping out in Q2? No, we won't.
He's the best moves up. So here's a little bit of a thing that's going to be a bit scary. Bodder and Moronix, well, Bodder, Moronix and Jay Slee. Do keep in mind, Jay Slee is definitely a contender for the podium, maybe even a win. The top 3 people that everyone's been keeping an eye on for most of the season are currently in the danger area of being knocked out of Q2. So
Moronix
Bodder
coming round.
going on. Bodder's now going on to. Yeah, Moronix now sets a 104.8, responding to Easton.
Moronix, first driver into the fours that we've seen this so far this session, with a 104.876.
Bodder is now on a lap, so Bodder is going to try and at least beat a 105.6 because Bodder is in complete danger of being knocked out in Q2. DPS Racing has retired from the session. I don't know if that was a crash. Could you investigate the race?
I'll have a look.
If it's terminal damage, he's crashed.
It is, he's crashed. Terminal damage.
Oh, DPS Racing is out of the session.
So I don't know he's put that in the wall.
If 40 won't make, 40 might be able to set a lap. If anyone can beat a 105.2 from DPS Racing, they will get into DPS Racing will make it. So Brober Container is out of Q2. He's in 15th place, starting from the back. So bad luck for the Red Bull driver, and so is Porter. Porter is out in 12th. So Bodder comes around the last corner, and he sets a 105.3. He gets knocked out in Q2. Bodder is out. So the only driver that could potentially get into Q3 now is Ted first. So Ted is now going to go across the final corner.
No, he's lifted.
Ted's ran out of fuel.
Ran out of fuel. Wow, that's...
so DPS Racing crashing, but just made it in the Q3.
So he will start P10. He won't obviously run in Q3 because the car will be retired with terminal damage. So we have 9 drivers in the top 10 shootout.
Oh, Tomo! He took a 104.7.
Who? Sorry?
It's Tomo's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not
Yes,
RSF1
yeah.
King Tomo, don't worry.
Yeah,
He Williams.
beat Moronix.
That's mental. The rookies of F3, Easton and Tomos, have just suddenly come out and said, "Hey, Moronix, we're here, and we're actually going to try and beat you." So I'm actually excited. And here's the thing: everyone are so quick to discriminate. But Easton, he's a young lad, but he's a young lad who knows what he's doing after winning his first race last week in France. Easton is definitely showing everyone that he is here and he is going to fight. So that young man, he's definitely wise for his age, and he's coming to P3. So our drivers knocked out of Q2 are DPS Racing, Jay Slee, Bodder, Porter, Ted Fuss, and Brober Container. Do keep in mind, if you crash in Q2, no matter the time you set, it will knock you out. So we've only got 9 cars for the shootout for the pole.
Oh, I was just about to ask DPS, can you tell us how you went out? But he ruined my lap and then span going into the first corner and into the wall.
Ah, unlucky, mate.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a high curb there. It can unsettle the car.
Also, I think you guys can agree in the chat, if you're racing, the bright sunshine on the hill can make it very hard to see the run-in to turn 1. I was certainly struggling to see where the braking zone was because the line was basically being obstructed by the sunshine. But DPS Racing's definitely not happy about that. But do keep in mind, DPS, you are still in 10th. you might have a good race, dude. So, you know, we wish you all the best to the race start. But for now, you know, you've got to keep an eye on the remaining 9 cars. Peppermeat on the loo. And, looks like both the Racing Point are now going out. Easton, who's actually first out of the pits?
Easton, I believe.
Easton. Do you want to do a onboard of Easton on his flying lap?
Yeah, we can do.
I think he's actually going to let Camo go by to get a tow.
I mean, Camo's going to go part. Yeah, so we'll hop on board with Camo. He seems to be in a fair bit of a hurry to get round and get the lap started. So obviously Camo trying to do 2 runs. Hang on, what's going on here?
Is he slowing down?
Here
we
go
looking
again.
At Italy? I'm having a crazy deja vu here.
Easton needs to back off, otherwise he's going to get so much hot air. And Camo needs to put his foot down. Oh, he has done. Good. Here we go then. So as always, you want to maximise your run onto the start-finish straight. It's a dipping corner off camber, so you can kind of run the car down the hill, and then it's a very short start-finish straight, one of the shortest on the calendar. And then you're climbing up to turn 1, very hard on the brakes, one of the hardest braking zones on the track. Nice little cut there. Little mistake there will cost you all the way up through to turn 2. Again, another long straight here, so foot to the floor, power down, then hard on the brakes yet again for another 90-degree corner, again uphill and off camber. And then the back straight, the second DRS zone of the circuit, so as you can see, Camo DRS wide open, gets the car over to the left, downhill braking zone, easy to snatch a brake on the inside wheel, and then rotates the car nicely as we come into the middle sector. So here we go then, turns 4 and 5, coming at you very quickly, very little braking involved. You want to sweep the car in, sweep it out, take as much curb as you dare, and then sweep the car in again for turns 5 and 6. 6 comes at you very quickly, and then it's another little straight to the 2 fantastic corners of turn 7 and turn 8 to finish off the lap. Down a gear in 6, flick the car to the right, hold it on the curb, flick the car to the right again, down 2 gears. He's extended massively on that lap, so that lap won't count. Yes, it will. Okay, track limits, where you at? He was
I'll tell you what,
good car and a half width off the track there.
I think chat can agree that was a beautiful onboard there. So, you know, round of applause to not only Krog, but Camo for giving a good show. That was...
It was well over the limit on the final corner. I don't know how that counts.
That was a superb commentating there from Master Krog, the man himself. And Eyes the Best and Flaming moving to 2nd and 3rd, so it's really good work from the Racing Point. Fordy being the only Ferrari in Q3, so he's now into 4th place. It looks like Easton invalidated his lap time. Yeah, Haas is basically going to wait it out. So I think Easton's definitely going to go in. He's got his tyres, he's not got enough ERS and not enough fuel. On board with Tomo's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not mistaking him for Hail King Tomo. So going into the Schlossgold corner, looks like you're a little bit too deep going out the corner, and now into Roush. So you need to make sure you try and not be too harsh on the throttle going into Roush, because sometimes if you're too hard on the throttle, you can't get the perfect steering out of the corner. You'll end up going a bit too wide and you'll catch the curb and either invalidate your lap time or maybe even lose control and go off the track. So going into Rint, and now the Red Bull Mobile cuts that quite nicely. A tidy run into the last corner, and Tomo's moves into 2nd place of a 105.2, so definite good run there. And just as you said about the Haas, Top Notch is the first Haas to make a response and is now going out on his lap. So would you like me to do the onboard, or would you like to?
Yeah, you can do. I'm just going to say this seems to be a thing Haas are doing a lot this season, is they're waiting for around the 7th minute with 7 minutes left on the clock to go out, because they get the clear track and they don't really struggle with. So obviously Haas would rather run in the middle of the session than at its peak. So I'll hand it over, Top Notch, for a hot lap.
So now getting a good run into the Red Bull Mobile, the final corner. He slaps on the DRS, and Top Notch now begins his lap. So he's going to make a run through to the Niki Lauda curve, turn 1. Looks like a nice tidy turn into turn 1. So now he's going to get a good run up the hill through to turn 2 and 3, which is Ramus. So going up the hill, The famous corner where Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton once collided on the final lap of the race. I think that was back in 2016, but it looks like he got a good run there. Going on to the DRS, the next DRS, so in the second one. So now going through into Schlossgold. So, yeah, good break. Oh, he looks like he had a little bit of trouble with the gearing there, and a little bit too wide going out of Schlossgold, so that's going to cost him some dear time. So now he's going to chuck it into Rindt. That's nice and good through Rindt. You got the slowing car of Camo there, the provisional pole sitter, into the Verf curve, over turn 8. So now he needs to try and make up that time in Rindt and the Red Bull Mobile. So through the second last corner, it's throwing it in there. So now you need to make sure you get a good run through. A little bit missed the apex there, but Top Notch moves into second place at 105.5. Yeah, I think
his
Top
DRS
Notch
deployment, so that will have cost him a little bit of time.
He ran wide going into a corner, and that costed him some serious time. So I think if he didn't do that, he probably would have gone on to provisional pole. But now, here is the man to keep an eye on. It's Moronix. Moronix is now on his hot lap, and he is now charging up the hill into Ramus. Oh my gosh, this is going to be intense. Do you think Moronix could do it?
I mean, Top Notch is just up the road, so Moronix has shown pace to be top 3 all session long so far. So we're gonna have to see what happens. I mean, is he gonna get no? This is obviously his lap because he's in hot lap deployment. So I'm expecting Moronix to maybe dip into the 4s. Because not forget we did see the.
What's happening is Top Notch is basically cutting open an air pocket for Moronix to go through.
Yeah, but that's not going to help him in the high-speed corners like turn 7 and 8. It's going to unsettle the car. But here we go. That's a little wide. And he's also out of deployment. Yeah, he invalidated.
He did. He invalidated the lap. This is not good for Moronix because he was hoping to do the one run, and he's got no DRS.
He's got no ERS, so he's going to have to save ERS here.
Oh, DRS. I said DRS, not ERS. Oh, I'm an idiot. Anyways,
there's too many
Moronix is going to have to...
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's going to have to get into the pits now and slap on... Well, not slap on a new set, but, you know, he needs to get in, refuel, and recharge, because if he doesn't,
he might not have
Moronix
time.
Could actually... No, Moronix might not have time. We could see Moronix going out in Q3 with no time set whatsoever. Easton has currently set no time in P8. Camo's still sitting comfortably
yet to go out, though,
up
which
in...
is the key thing there.
40 is the only car on track that's actually going through on the hot lap who's intending on staying out, unlike Moronix, who's unfortunately invalidated his lap time. And it looks like 40 invalidated his lap time as well because he exceeded the track limits there going through the second to last corner.
Yeah, Moronix boxes, I was going to say.
40.
If Moronix puts this lap in, he will be out.
Looks like Flaming's now on his out lap, so Duffalump and Flaming.
Comes into the pits. It's
so
going to have to
3
be
minutes
quick.
is going to remain.
I mean, if he can get in and out, he needs to be leaving the garage with about a minute 30, 2 minutes to go. He should be fine.
I'd say
he
he'd
should be
leave
out
around
again.
the 2 minute mark. So we got Flaming. He's now going to begin his flying lap. So we'll stay on board with Flaming for the moment. So the cars that are currently now beginning their hot laps again is Flaming and Duffalump. Everyone else is probably going to wait to the 2 minute mark. I can hear cars revving in that pit lane. They're now going to come out. So I think this is going to be Flaming and
very
Duffalomp's
compromised
only
through turn 1.
chance. Yeah, he's not even in the full ERS mode. He's only in mode 3.
I mean, you don't really need to use hot lap. It doesn't give you that much of an advantage. But Flaming, seemingly one guy we always look at to be front of the field, but he seems to be struggling this weekend. Maybe the track doesn't really suit his driving style.
Austria's
I mean, saying that, he'll probably go and pop it on pole. Oh, that was very close between Thomas and Fordy.
Oh! Fordy's got a 5-place grid penalty.
I thought... Yeah, I caught the end of that. I mean, Thomas was obviously getting out the way, and Fordy's left it so late to pull out from his slipstream that he hit him, and the game has
so it was definitely Fordy that
drop.
got that penalty.
What was that, sorry? Oh, and Flaming's
check
gone
it was definitely
Fordy
Fordy that got the penalty.
So
Flaming
Flaming
has
isn't
got
going to have
105.4.
time. So he's going to have to harvest this lap and then go again on 3-lap old softs.
So I'm going to have to say to DPS Racing, I know you have a bit of bad luck, but you just got to watch the language, mate, because, you know, we're trying to remain family-friendly content here. We do not want swearing in the chat, so please, I would like to advise you to please mind your language.
So Flaming's actually got a this and next lap invalidated. So Flaming will have to do... So obviously he's going to use this lap as an out lap. Grid penalty 440. Yeah, that is confirmed. So it looked like he hung in the slipstream and just pulled out and just slightly brushed him. And the game has
we got someone
gone...
new in the chat. Welcome, Lee Kelly 12.
So it's... Yeah, so 40 with a 5-place grid drop then. As we come into the... So Flaming pits. So Flaming... Best case scenario is P6.
We're going to go stay on board with Moronix, because Moronix is now on the charge. Camo's done a 1-5 dead, but Moronix needs to beat that. Can Moronix do it? There's only 10 seconds left in the session. If he gets a bad run, through here, it could ruin the entire lap. Going into the last corner.
Nice, this is going to be quick.
Moronix is going to come across.
Oh,
and he's going to take provisional pole with a 147. Well done to Moronix. Tomo's second place at 104.9, but he's going to fall back to 7th with the 5-place grid penalty with the collision. No, that's not Tomo's who's got the penalty. It's 40. My bad. Camo actually manages to stay out and go on to a lap. So we'll stay on board with Camo. You keep an eye on everyone else. Keep an eye on Easton. Easton takes provisional pole. Wow. The young man. He may be young, but he's definitely got skill. Provisional pole for Easton into the wet race, and it looks like Camo is definitely going to be under pressure. Camo looks like is he on a good run? It looks like Camo's doing pretty decent. Chucks it into Rint. It looks like Camo really likes it around Austria.
Cut the curb a little bit.
Last corner, a little bit
that should be fine.
Oh, third place from Camo!
What a top 5! Wow!
Oh my god! Oh! The AI bumped into each other. 40. Unfortunately, 40 will fall down to 13th place, which, due to his 5-place grid penalty for colliding with Tomo. So, DPS Racing, having been not happy about going into 10th, he moves up a position into 9th. So he's not directly in the midfield, but our top 10 will go from the rear order. So RSF1 Flaming is in 9th place, 40 is in 8th, following his 5-place grid penalty, will continue to fall down further. Duffalump, 7th, Top Notch, 6th, Eyes the best is 5th, so good run from Eyes, even though he was a previous session's pole sitter. Yeah, Tomo's 4th in, I think it's his 2nd race in RSF1. Tomo's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Camo, 3rd place. Well done to Camo. That's his best qualifying session for a race start in all of F3. So well done to Camo. Moronix 2nd. And Easton, the young man who took France by storm, takes provisional pole.
Wow. What an end to Q3. That was fantastic.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And here comes the heavy rain.
Oh dear.
And I'm not referring to the PlayStation game. We are talking about heavy duty rain for this race. And I don't know if it's going to lighten up. It might be wet conditions all the way through.
Apparently it's going to lighten up a little bit.
So is it going to go from heavy to light rain to the end? So we might see maybe an intermediate finish?
Hopefully we'll see it go on to dries, because that's always entertaining.
So we are now in the transition period. We are now waiting for the drivers because it's now extremely wet. The drivers need to work out the strategy because right now... DPS Racing, pardon my French, really annoyed, ruined my race through my own set. We all make mistakes, DPS. Don't beat yourself
Especially
up.
on this game.
Still got... Yeah, do keep in mind, it's rain. Anything could happen to turn 1. You might find yourself going more forward, staying where you are, or maybe going back. But you can never say the race is over until it's over. So it is now going to be intense for the race start. And I, for one, am excited. I'm actually surprised. Easton, Easton is a young kid, you know, not discriminating, because even the young children can have real talent. And Easton, I think he's at what, 12, 13? Must be around that mark. And he's already, like, he took his first win back in France, and now he's just come back and snatched provisional pole for the race. I'm impressed. Easton is really staggered me from how he's put people like Moronix and Jay Slee, you know, into
That's
a place
the beauty
where
of it, though.
That's
the beauty of league racing.
Into the battle for the championship.
Well, that was the thing. The race we did in Singapore last year for the VIP pass. It was me, and then the guy in second was this kid. I think he was about 8 or 9 years old, and he gave me a damn good run for my money.
I spoke to Bodder recently. Bodder, in another league, he actually met Easton previously, and Easton and Bodder really had a good fight there. And like Bodder heard him in the chat, like in the interviews, and he was staggered because, you know, such a kid at such a young age had such amazing knowledge of the track, you know, not just the track, but, you know, of like the game itself, because people normally close to see like shunning down a kid, especially because, you know, people think, oh, children, you know, what's going to happen, you know, blah, blah, blah. But do keep in mind, Bodder's ready. It looks like we're all ready to go through. But I'm actually really excited to see Easton and Moronix fight, because I have a feeling the moment Easton won in France, Moronix and him became rivals. And this could be a really good rivalry to the end.
Let's just hope everyone keeps it clean for the start. I don't want to see an absolute car park.
I'll let you do the formation lap. I'll let you run over from the back to the front.
Wonderful. So just waiting for everyone to tick the box, and there we have it. So we get away in what is a very, very wet Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. So running you through the field then. So in last place, Joshua has managed to join us, and he has got going. It's always good to see. So a full accompaniment of Formula 2 cars.
Formula 3.
Formula 3, sorry. Full accompaniment of Formula 3 cars to get us with some entertaining racing this week. Yeah, it is good to see. It's always good to see a full field. So then, P20, we have Joshua, who's yet to set a time in quality. Oh, and there's already been a Red Bull through one of the polystyrene boards. So Joshua fills the final position on the grid, P20. Falcon Legends is 19th after what will only be described as a missed opportunity in qualifying for him. Ace Ear takes P18. He's been recently promoted up into the league, so we'll be watching him, see what he can do as the race progresses. Old Mansley, P17. Probably, again, another driver we didn't expect to see down there. Elemental Snow takes P16. Braver Container is P15. The second McLaren of Tedist is 14.
Nah, it's Mercedes.
The what?
Mercedes. Ted versus Mercedes, not McLaren.
Right, 40 in 13th. RSF1 Porter. Bodder takes P11. JS Lee P10. DPS Racing fills out P9. Flaming is in P8. Duffalump in position 7. And then you have Top Notch, Eyes the Best, and Tomos filling P6, P5, and P4 respectively. And they're all bunching up, coming to the grid. And then Camo and Moronix take P3 and P2. And then Easton, with a fabulous lap earlier on in the session, puts us in P1. So that is a very muddled up field. I don't really know who's where, to be honest.
So same old. You keep an eye on the mid to refield, and I'll keep an eye on the front. So
we're not going to see anything. So
here we go. Round 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Long hold.
And it's
very long hold.
Go.
Top Notch with a brilliant 9. Start.
Oh, and he's lost one of the Williams. He's spinning like crazy. Easton gets a good run into turn 1. We've lost a Haas as well. It looks like Top Notch has gone down he's gone down to 4th. Camo keeps 3rd place, so it goes from Easton to Moronix. Camo
spinning round.
Thomas we got a nasty collision.
Oh, Thomas's start goes from bad to worse.
Look how many cars are going into Ramus, and we've got a Ferrari crashing into the panels. Look how much is bundled into turn 4. There's contact sandwiched between the two cars. Porter manages to keep pushing forward. It's been a bad race for Thomas. He's fallen down to dead last place after an amazing start for him. We have to hope that he can make a recovery. But until then, it looks like the race will continue to go on, and the battle is still fighting in the bottom of the field. Porter's down to 17th.
So Thomas, the biggest loser there out of everyone else. He seemed to get tagged by, I believe, one of the Toro Rossos. I didn't quite see which one, but that was better than I thought it was going to be. As we've got 40 going side by side with Bodder into turn 7. Bodder goes round the outside.
Bodder sticks it.
Beautifully
nice
done.
One from Bodder. And it looks like everyone is struggling. Easton sets the fastest lap of the race, obviously. He's only just been lap 1, so it will continue. It is not bad enough for us to deem a restart, so the restart train will not be happening today, everyone.
Asai spins round on the pit lane entry, so I don't know whether he's missed the pit box there. So he's going to have a lap of pain with no front wing.
He's got a full front wing. He's got both the end plates still on my screen. Yeah, he's still got a full car.
I can't see the... Oh, Thomas.
Oh.
It's not what you want to see.
Did Thomas just crash?
No, he's just retired in the pit lane.
I think after falling from 4th place
you can't
down to 15.
You can't just jump the ship and quit. There's 34 laps left.
You never know. Ace E is going... it's a safety car. It's a virtual safety car. I think it wasn't... Check the...
No, it was in the pits. He went into the pits and retired.
Why was there a VSC?
Because if he's retired in the pits, it'll pick it up. Yeah, there's nothing on there. He's retired in the pits. That's not...
Change it back now. So tyres
Easton leads then.
Intervals. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. A bit of an end plate flying off there. Think of one of the racing points. I think that might have been eyes.
Oh, it's all very bunched up in P4.
Lee is trying to get a run and flaming. He gets...
Duffelump goes up the inside.
Trying to do it going into turn 1. And Duffelump gets on the inside of Eyes the best.
Eyes is going to have a far better run.
Jace Lee stuck it. 3. Oh, and the Red Bull Braver Container running wide, going into the Nicky Lauer curve. And look at that, the battles in the midfield is so close. Moronix 6 tenths.
That's very late on the brakes from JS Lee. I can see a plane crash.
He's chucking it down the inside. He's going side by side with Duffelump. A battle between the Racing Point. Not Racing Point. Yeah, the Racing Points, the Williams, and the Toro Rosso. It's a good battle going down the inside into Slosh Gold. JS Lee, he overbrakes himself and forces Porter off. Porter luckily recovered though. Jace Lee just broke way too late, and unfortunately because Duffelump was round the outside, it just couldn't allow Duffelump to get out of there. And it looks like Jace Lee is now going to try and keep catching on Eyes the Best. Meanwhile, Flaming, he's sniffing the back of that Williams.
So this is the closest battle we have then between the two Racing Points. JS Lee's had to jump out of it.
Oh, Braver Container's gone off as well.
So JS Lee, Eyes has gone into the pits. JS Lee's had to jump out of the way, and his front wing is still intact.
Do you think that was a dangerous entry into the pits from Eyes?
No, I didn't quite catch it, so I wouldn't have comment on it. And I think Duffelump has just hit the back of Flaming.
I didn't get to catch it as well. And we lost Ted Fuss. Ted Fuss is out of the session. He's crashed.
So we could be seeing another safety car here then. But that's the thing. I always thought here with the pit lane entry, you had to be in the white line. You can't just go from the racing line and swoop in. So
we got a battle between teammates. Well, Eyes is in last place at the moment.
I think he's hoping to...
Oh, I'm going to have a look at this.
The gap 1/10 now.
Our young race
Flaming
leader
gets
is
past
struggling.
JS Lee takes back Flaming.
Camo is actually putting pressure on Moronix. Camo and Moronix are actually really good mates off the track, so it's really good to see a battle between friends.
That's going to be tested this week.
Because Camo is gaining on Moronix. Look at Easton, he's struggling to keep the car going.
He's the cork in the bottle here. He's definitely backing up.
He's run wide.
JS Lee with absolute incredible pace from nowhere,
I think JS
really.
Lee is literally our Max Verstappen. Oh, look at that. Easton goes deep into turn 1 and Moronix gets even closer. Oh, this battle for the top 3 is incredible. Running up the hill climb.
Top Notch starting to sneak into the back of it as well now as well.
Yeah, Top Notch is cutting down time off of Camo. It looks like Easton's run deep going into turn 3, sorry. But then look at that, Camo's got a better on Moronix because Moronix actually messed up going into the corner.
Jump out of the way to avoid his teammate.
Oh dear! What's happened with Bodder?
On the brakes and snatches an inside wheel and has to go straight on at turn 3 to avoid running into the back of his teammate.
Braver Container moves up into 9th place as well, so that Red Bull is definitely really doing good in the wet race. And it looks like Easton's now slightly opening the gap between him and Moronix, while Camo is staying within the
sneaks through as well on Bodder after that mistake.
Yeah, and it looks like Braver Container is now actually starting to slowly gain on DPS Racing. Actually, no, DPS Racing has just opened up the gap to a second. So the battle... Oh, Easton and Moronix are battling! No, Easton's gone into the pits. Why is Easton pitting?
Is that for front wing damage?
Has Easton got wing damage?
Or is he making the call to go on to Inters early? Yeah, they're intermediates. Easton taking the gamble here then.
Is he taking a risk?
Inters. Wow.
This could cost a young man his race win if it's too early to call.
I think it's Inters because the rain has lifted. I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on his sector times. Because Moronix now...
Everyone's responded. Bodder has gone on to the wet intermediates as well, and so has Joshua. So it looks like Joshua has responded to his teammate going in. So this is going to be close because that means everyone's now struggling on the wet weather tyre. It could mean Easton may have made the right call.
Wow, Easton making the brave call there to go on to the Inters early.
Tell you what, he looks like he's flying in there. Look at that. We've got a beautiful helicopter view of Easton.
And Moronix seriously struggling on the wets. It's not wet. I don't think it's wet enough.
Easton called it perfectly. I think we might see a dry transition at this rate.
Yeah, Moronix is pitting. Moronix boxes. So does Camo.
Oh, this is close.
So does Top Notch.
Look
so
at
the Hasses are stacking. This is going to really do in Top Notch's race. JS Lee pits as well. Everyone boxing now for the intermediate tyres. Easton with an absolutely incredible call. DPS stays out for another lap.
Easton might just get caught out because Moronix has just put on those tyres. Can he get out in front of Moronix? The question will rise now.
Moronix coming up with an entry now. I think it's going to be close between these two. Easton will have the run down into turn 3.
Oh, Moronix just got it.
Easton a lap too early, but he's going to be on the warmer tyres. Will he send one up the inside into turn 3?
He looks like he's going to try to.
Thinks about it. Easton a lap too early. Maybe he had a little bit of trouble on his outlap.
A battle between Element Snow, DPS Racing and Braver Container for the lead. The Red Bull is sniffing the back of that McLaren. That McLaren and the Red Bull are struggling with the wet tyres.
Top Notch has stopped for fresh wets.
Oh no, Top Notch has probably made the... Oh, down the inside goes Braver Container and Roush, but he went
Easton get round into the inside. Legends as well, he needs to for this race, and he does. Easton driving like a man possessed at the minute.
He's doing really good.
Saying the undercut will be massive, but it looks to be getting heavier rain again.
Is it starting to get heavy?
I don't know what the weather's doing. I mean...
Oh! Braver Container went
Moronix very wide. It's going to put Easton on him down the back straight if he can get a clean run. Yeah, this looks like it's getting heavier.
Keep an eye on them. It does. I can't say how the session's going to go.
Lap of the race.
So going into the Niki Lauda curve, Moronix is just... Look at him, he's struggling, but Easton is flying on those tyres. Bodder sets the fastest lap of the race. I actually say Bodder has been a person to really excel. Exactly,
Bodder has 12th to 5th. So Bodder executing the perfect strategy there. JS Lee's pace has kind of levelled out.
Camo's in third, obviously during the whole transition. I think Camo just was a little late getting on. He's still in third, so Camo could look at a potential first podium. Oh, Easton goes a bit too wide going into the Slush Gold corner. Allows Moronics to open the gap to a second.
So then the gap now just over a second. Of course, DRS will not be used as it is wet racing conditions. Joshua and Duffalump trading punches down the back straight as Duffalump is going horrifically deep.
Oh, God!
Joshua snakes back up the inside to take that last points playing position off of him.
Well done to Josh, having a bit of a poor qualifying session of not being able to attend, starting from dead last into 10th place. Well done to Joshua.
Gets the cut back on Duffalump perfectly as Duffalump gets it all wrong into turn 4.
And Old Mancy is starting to put pressure on Braver Container in the Red Bull.
Moronics with the fastest lap of the race so far then. The gap's still 0.8 between the top 2.
And we got a comment from the new people in the chat. Lee Kelly. Oh, Bonner's got a 3-second time penalty. And
That's
Lee
track
Kelly 12
extending
says, I'm
on
not
turn
normally
1.
interested in anything. And then Lee Kelly said, I'm not normally interested in anything F1, but this is interesting. So we've actually captivated a non-F1 fan.
Fantastic.
In our league
we're
racing.
Glad you're enjoying the race. We certainly are. It's been a cracker, as most of these F3 races seem to be. An absolute cracker of a race so far. And we're only on lap 9.
Oh, and it looks like Duffalump and Joshua have a battle again, and Duffalump takes 10th place.
Yeah, but can he stop
Joshua
it? This is exactly what he did last time.
Element Snow! Element Snow is now starting to get a little look. Duffalum's going a little bit, Duffalum's actually keeping it nice, but Joshua is just wanting to get past that Toro Rosso, but he gets a bad run through. Look at the run that Mercedes got through going into the Roush corner.
So Elemental Snow now will be looking at these two, hoping to sneak into the battle and maybe catch a couple of them off guard, but here we go. The Element with a massive run off of that turn 5.
Down the inside!
And
going
turn 6.
into
He's going to
Rint.
go down the inside into turn 7. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can.
What a beautiful move by Element Snow. That was
brilliant
tremendous.
overdrive off of turn 5 and 6.
Speaking of, Jace Lee has finally caught up to Camo. The battle for third place is taking real form because
So
Camo
Camo's
is struggling on
dropping
those
back
inters.
from the
He
top
run wide. We got a yellow flag in the third sector. What is it?
Oh, A-Sires, I think, had a spin again on the final corner.
Luckily,
so caught him coming very
he's
slow
still
out of
okay.
turn 8. Yeah, he's still
Camo
running.
is struggling. Look at this. And the Jace Lee got a bad run there into the Schloss Gold corner as well. He is really, really struggling. This is
40
amazing
scrapping.
battles.
After
Porter.
Top-Notch coming
Let's have a
out
little
on
look at Porter.
the pit lane incident where he put the wrong tyres on. Easton keeping Moronics on it.
He's
He's
get
1.1 about 1.1 off of him. Camo struggling to keep up with the front two.
Falcon Legends is struggling a little bit on the soft compound. No, not the soft compound. Yeah, he's struggling on his tyres. It might allow Porter to maybe come in. It might let Porter come in and take possibly 13th place because I'm certainly
Falcon's
seeing
about to
here.
go the inside into turn 7. Thinks better of it. I thought, oh my goodness, that would have been
DPS Racing, fastest lap of the race.
McLaren coming out.
105.9. 105 is dry weather tyre.
No, that's
laps.
a 115.
How?
That can't be a 105. Yeah, he'd be lapping about 10 seconds quicker than everyone
Oh,
else.
okay, I didn't see the extra one there.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
me.
115.
Oh, I thought it was a 105. Porter, 3-second time penalty. Joshua is struggling. And
Yellow
Falcons is
flag
going to gain.
Oh! RSF1 Flaming and Braver Container coming together. Coming out of turn 3. Braver Container raises the
Did they make
hand.
contact?
Flaming gives him a big squeeze. Oh, guys, come on.
I
You're
can't
better than
see.
that. It's
Oh,
getting
down
a
the
bit...
inside goes Braver
Oh,
Container.
and Flaming's
On
just
RSF1
turned into
Flaming.
him. You might want to
We
watch
can't have
this.
grudges here.
We might need it for the stewards later
Oh!
on. I think Flaming goes
Flaming
for a dive.
is,
And
is going extremely aggressive. There was no way Flaming could go for a dive
Yeah,
there. Look, I
I
know
think-
you're not happy with a move, but there's no room for grudges here. If you have any grudge, take it off the track or take it up with the stewards.
I'm
You
just
do
gonna
not
stay on
bring
board
that
with
onto
these
the
two
track
and
because
just-
that could ruin the races. Yeah, I'm going to stay on it as well. We do not take grudge racing in this league. If you are going to have a grudge, you take it up off
he's
the
about to
racetrack.
get overtaken
If you
by Old
cause an
Mansley
accident-
as well.
Yeah, if you cause an accident on track, you could ruin it for the other 18 drivers. So, you know, professionally race on track. None of this. Oh, and Walter Flaming, even with a damaged wing, is gaining on Braver Container. Could we see a possible Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg situation? He's damaged the wing. I think because it looks like Braver's fine. Braver's run deep into Ramus. Mansi moves up into 9th. And look at this, we've got a beautiful helicopter shot. Duffelump is going to try and make the move.
Duffelump's trying to go back around the outside.
On Mansi. Oh, we're not getting a
Braver
good
Container's
view
gone
here
deep.
of the battle.
Flaming and follows him in. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. From what we saw, Flaming, it was getting a bit push and shove between him and Braver.
It was getting a little bit heated between the battle because Flaming
you can get heated, but as long as you don't both end up in the wall.
No possibility.
That's a whole different argument because I've overtaken cars. Oh, that's a definite corner cut. I think Flaming's deliberately driving to try and catch up to him now.
Yeah, he's ran extremely wide going off the track.
He's being very creative. That's going to put Manzi all over the back of him.
Manzi's going to move up into 9th place.
Is Flaming going to stop the car?
In 8th place.
Manzi round the outside. What a move.
Well done by Manzi, but Flaming is going to...
I think Flaming is about to retire.
Flaming's gone off! Has he got a puncture?
No, he's just... I don't know what he's doing.
What's happened to Flaming? I know he was getting a little bit creative with the driving, but maybe he just got a bad run out of turn 1 because he...
No, he didn't. He deliberately drove off the track. He deliberately drove off the track and slowed down.
Why did he do that?
I have no idea, but he's now ruined his race and any chance of points.
Well, not very wise driving there from RSF1 Flaming, I have to say. You know, if you have a good drive, you don't force yourself off the track. You know, he was actually still in 9th place. He could have fought with Duffelump. He was still up in there in the points, you know, and now all he's just done is force himself down to the back of the grid with his teammate.
I don't get that.
And a battle brewing now because Bodder is being caught up by his teammate. It's the second times the McLarens have come together. Could we see a second
going to go into the pits
crash?
And retire.
No, Bodder's letting DPS Racing go by. Team orders are going into play here.
Oh, wow.
Flaming's
really?
retired from the session.
That's just childish. Come on.
What happened?
Better than that. That's just childish. Moving on. So, DPS gets in front. He just retired in the pit lane.
I know the battle with Braver Container was not happy for you, Flaming, but then again, you know, there was still more battles to be had. You may have lost one, but that doesn't mean you lost it all. So I do have to agree. I think driving off the track like that and then retiring too early was kind of a bit silly, but you know, if that's what he wants to do, that's his choice. But Ace Ear, 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
He's gone well. Oh, he's getting out. Really getting out of the way, but I don't...
I'm going to have to stop using my data now because I've just ran out of data on my phone, so you're going to have to keep an eye on the chat.
Yeah, I've got it.
Anyway, so looking on, Easton is still within a second of RSF1 Moronic.
And just to respond to what Jay Moore has put in the chat, what happened to not saying anything, guys? Not really fair to say he's childish. If you get involved in an on-track battle, yes, you lose the wing, but there is no need to then drive like a maniac to A, try and hit the other driver, B, to cut corners to try and catch up with him, to knock him off, and then to deliberately slam on the brakes, get out the way, and then retire in the pit lane. It's league racing. It's not the end of the world. We're here to have some fun. So, and it's just giving up. And if you're going to be with that mentality, you should really go and race elsewhere. Isaiah gets out the way then, so that just addresses that one.
I do have to agree with you on some of that because, you know, fair enough if you have a battle. I mean, I've had times where I've been in a battle.
Oh, Joshua
I've had a problem.
Oh no, it's Joshua and Top Notch. Sorry, I thought he was a lap down. My mistake. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to say. Anyways, you know, I've had times where I've had a bit of contact and it's damaged my race, but you know, you stick it out, because do keep in mind one of the drivers that I think has most patience, and I'm gonna have to give a shout out for, is Overcome Orphan in F4. He has moments where he gets caught in massive accidents. He crashes out.
I know.
Well, not
So
crashes, but he gets broken wings. And Overcome, you know, he sticks it out, and he's actually scored points with that persistence. So, oh, and Top Notch has just hit the back of 40. Oh, and Top Notch has just hit the inside of the corner. Oh my God, that
Top
was...
Notch lifts then.
Oh, anyways...
Top Notch's race goes from bad to
worse. It might have been a bit
worse.
too harsh, but I do have to agree on what Krog is saying. It was very silly. You know, he wasn't happy that the contact between him and Braver Container happened, but he did deliberately cut corners to try and catch him. And that, when you're doing that, it's not clean racing.
I wasn't going to take him out, but to be fair, the way you were driving was going to end in a crash. Diving up the inside of turn 4 in the wet, it's asking for trouble, and we don't need that. Let's move on. We've got a good race here. So we've got Easton closing up to Moronics.
It's just some of the drivers to sort out
to around 1.5. Camo still maintains P3 from JS Lee.
JS Lee's actually still maintained 9/10 of a second. Anyways. Before we wrap it up completely, bury the whole topic. There's always next time, Flaming. You know, whatever happened. There's nothing changing it. I'm pretty sure we'll all move forward from this. But
let's just try and keep it going, because you know
we see some great battles in the back.
It seems to happen every week. Old Mansley, Elemental Snow, and Porter very close together in the midfield.
Yeah,
so that's your close. Oh, Easton's made a mistake somewhere.
Duff has gone down the inside on Braver. Braver ran a bit deep going into the Schlossgold curve, which has allowed Duffalump to say, I'll have that, and move up into P7. Braver Container is now starting to fall back a little bit. Old Mancy is now starting to get a little bit of a look on the Red Bull. And Element Snow, it's a 4-horse battle for P7.
So it's shaping up to be quite an interesting battle for the top 5 to P10.
I'm actually enjoying seeing. We've got the back marker of Ace Ear there. He's 3 laps behind the pack, but he's still pushing on.
Exactly. This is what I mean. You never know what's going to happen, and it's all experience. So you just drive until the flag. But
Ace Ear, you know, he's in hopes of trying to maybe catch the car in 16th of Top Notch, and look at that, down the inside goes Element Snow on Old Mancy, and Braver Container goes down the inside on Duffalump. Look at that, it's a battle for 7th place. Braver Container
going to get the drive down to turn 4. Duffalump looks to, is he going to send it? No, he's not. Thinks better of it. Elemental Snow struggling to slow down. Just taps the back of Duffalump. That's what I said. It's getting very close for P7, P8, 7, 8, 9 and 10.
I think Duffer's just struggling for grip, and it's just allowing Element Snow to get a little look on that car. But let's have a little look-see on the positions gained and lost. So, hang on, let's have a little look-see. So, Braver Container's made up 8. Element Snow's made up 7. Old Mancy with a 3-second penalty. Falcon Legends and Joshua have made up 6 apiece. DPS Racing's made up 4. Bodder's made up 5. So it's really good racing here from the lads today. You know, it's good to see a full grid, but you know, race still goes on.
Goes for it
because the battle's happening again. Oh, Duff has still gone deep.
Had to go off the track. Elemental Snow
and Dufflump's got a 3-second penalty for exceeding the track limits, which means Element Snow's in a good position because Mancy's got a penalty, and now Duff has got one as well. Element's still quite clear, I think. Anyways,
big dive bomb from Element. Dufflump's
that was, and that allowed him to get a bad run, and Dufflump gets down the inside and makes the position back again. Actually, a battle might go on into Roush. No, it looks like Element Snow's maybe backed off. Right, so We still got 16 laps to go. It's because obviously we're in wet weather. It's a little bit slower than our usual race around Austria, but it's intense. I'll give it that.
The top 3 seem to be stagnating. JS Lee is always within under a second of P3 in Camo. Camo with a stellar drive so far, though.
I am actually really happy to see Camo performing so well. This is his best race.
Right, there's a lot of opinions being thrown around in the chat, so
we'll leave these discussions.
We'll glaze over that.
Track, please. We'll leave these opinions off track for now. We still need to keep this going.
Elemental Snow, 2/10 off Duffalump. That's the battle.
Brave has gone deep. Got a yellow flag in the second
Yellow
sector.
flag. Who's gone? JS Lee's made a little bit of a mistake. Oh, I think it's AC getting out of the way.
We're not accusing you of anything, Flaming. It's just at the end there, you did go off the track and retired when you could have pushed
Let's just move on from it. Let's just not talk about it anymore. It's taking up too much of the stream. So, Flaming now joining on to this battle. We've got 4 cars here, separated by less than a second. JS Lee finally drops. Is it starting to dry up, do you think? Are we starting to see little snippets of blue in the sky?
I think we are. No, it's still like rain. I can see. Oh, it looks like Element Snow's going down the inside onto Ramus. I was concentrating a little bit on the sky. Oh, and a little bit of contact there. Those bump wheels, but no wing damage, you know. A little bit of wheel touching, but that's no harm there. That's racing. And Element Snow is still targeting the back of that Toro Rosso.
Oh, he goes up the inside. Duffalump again will try and get the cut back.
But it doesn't look like he's got the ability to. Ted First says light rain to the end, I think.
Okay.
So now the battle for first is starting to extend because looks like Moronics is comfortably staying ahead of Easton, and I actually do think looks like Jake Moore has said they'll have to stop for Inters. 28 laps would be too much. I would be inclined to agree because there's no way the intermediates could do more than... When did they all pit? They pitted about lap 5.
Lap 4. Lap 5.
Lap 4 or 5. No way they could do 32 laps.
Stop raining
on those tyres. It is. Are we looking for a dry finish?
That would make it very interesting if we do.
Flaming just said it's dry weather. Jeff told me before. Rain stopping. We could be seeing the dry. Then. I think every single race in Austria has led to a wet start to a dry finish.
So who's going to be the first to blink, and what tyre do you go on to?
I have no idea. I definitely know Softs could make it to the end. Seeing how they performed, I'd definitely say Softs could do it.
Yeah, they could, but it depends. Is the wear going to be too high on them?
We'll have to find out. Dry weather in 10 minutes.
And so you're going to be looking at dry tyres in about 2 to 3 laps, surely. There's no rain, and the Inters will clear it.
Moronics is struggling.
Slowly around turn 4. So's Easton, to be fair. I wouldn't be surprised if we see people diving in here.
Let's keep an eye on Moronics now, the man in the lead. Yeah, Jake Moore did softs in F2. Like in this sort of transition. Oh my god, this is...
This is dry.
It's the first one to go onto the soft compound tyres. Has he made a mistake on pitting maybe too early?
Oh, squirms are coming out of the pit lane. Putting the power down. It's going to be wet in the pit lane, but other than that...
we still got spray coming off the cars, so...
Yeah, but there's a dry line and there's no rain. Let's see how he slows it down.
Oh, it looks like the
turn
spray
3.
is starting to stop. The spray is
it's just
starting to
dry
slowly die
tyres.
down.
And so can you...
This is mad. This is getting mad. The battle for 7th place is now getting closer because Element Snow is gaining on Braver Container. So we're actually seeing a Mercedes Red Bull fight today.
It's definitely accordion enough up front. 40 pits.
Oh, 40.
Bodder's
And
pitted for softs
Bodder's
as well.
moved on to the...
That could be
Bodder
massive
maybe
for
jumped the
Bodder if
gun.
he's got this right. That could throw him up into the podium.
Let's see how
Because they are
Bodder does going
definitely
out the pit
struggling
exit.
on these intermediates. Moronic so slow.
Bodder
Oh, DRS
could-
enabled. Yeah, Bodder's timed that perfectly.
Oh my God, Bodder could potentially shoot for the podium if he can gain
if he
on the
can get a
front
good
runners.
if he can get a good outlap. Moronics and Easton are the guys to watch.
Let's change it now. So Bodder is 40 seconds off the leader. So let's keep an eye on Bodder's times
Moronics
now.
goes very
going
good. Yeah,
into
Moronics
the lap.
boxes. Easton's going to follow him in.
Moronics and Bodder won't take the lead. Bodder won't take the lead, but he'll definitely move up a load of places because he is only... Bodder could move up into 6th place.
Yeah, JS Lee and DPS pitting as well.
Did Easton get in front of Moronics in the pits? No, he hasn't.
No, he didn't. Got held a little bit coming in. So this is going to be... has Easton got the dry pace
Jace
to fall in?
Jace Lee... Oh, never mind. No, they're not staying out. I thought they stayed out on the intermediates. I was like, what are you doing?
Bodder's going to come round now. Braver can... Has he just put fresh inters on? No, Braver Container doesn't stop. Bodder...
Braver Container's staying out?
No, yeah.
DRS is enabled.
So
This could be bad for Camo.
Camo's on softs.
Yeah, but Camo's got to get past the car running the intermediates.
Oh, it'll be easy. He'll just walk round him. Braver Container.
Good move for Bodder.
AC sets the fastest lap of the race. Braver's going to fight it though.
Oh, Jace Lee and DPS Racing are going to have a fight going into Slosh Gold. And it looks like he just sticks it. Camo gets past Braver Container.
Decent 2.7 off of Moronics in first place.
Ooh. DPS Racing touches the back of the squirming Red Bull.
Oh, and JS Lee flies past as well. So JS Lee's lost out here. So DPS has jumped JS Lee in the pit stops. And JS Lee, who's been running around in 4th all race, now finds himself P5. 5/10 off
Container
P4.
got wing damage. I know he's on the intermediate, so he has to pit. But has Braver got wing damage on top?
Bodder's flying on the softs.
Jace Lee's got a 3-second penalty, and so is Duffer. No wing damage for Braver. He's still fine. What tyre is he going out on? He's on the inters again! Braver Container's on the inters!
Oh dear, that's not gone well.
Braver Container's race just went from bad to worse. This is not intermediate with a tyre.
No, so that's going to cost him 40 seconds.
Unless he
about
knows something we don't.
No, it's dry to the end. It's not raining. Braver Container has just shot himself in the foot.
Sent him down the back of the grid. Bad luck there from Braver Container, but he should have kept an eye on his pit strategy.
Oh, JS Lee's got past DPS somewhere.
Moronics has got a 3-second penalty. If Easton can stay within 3 seconds of Moronics, Easton could take the win.
It is starting to rain again.
You're joking.
No, it's starting to rain again. The rain is falling again.
So, Flaming calling Braver brain dead might not be very appropriate because it looks like Braver might have just figured out that the rain's coming back and he could do it.
Well, that's one hell of a strategy call if he's got that right.
If Braver Container purposely said, I'm going to stay on the intermediates...
That would gain him 20 seconds. That would only put him around P6 or 7.
Easton's got a 3-second penalty, so his hopes of chasing down Moronics... Yeah, the rain is definitely back. So a short dry spell.
Red Bulls battling each other, one a lap down from the other.
Yeah, Braver's trying to get past Ace Ire.
So it depends. If this starts chucking it down, Eyes goes past Porter, JS Lee and DPS side by side into turn 8. That's not a car overtaking spot. I mean, of course, we saw the MotoGP with that massive final lap overtake. Here we go, DPS with a run. JSC is going to go defensive.
I do have to agree with Patronus. What is this race? It is all over the place.
Oh, JSL's gone deep.
The best has got a penalty.
DPS is going to get the cutback. So DPS reclaims 4th position. Is it going to rain heavy enough?
DRS gets to save. Maybe. Right now, the gap
Not
between
only that, Easton is catching
leader,
Moronics as well.
The gap between leader right now to Braver Container is 54 seconds. So if it goes really, really bad, it could potentially allow Braver to at least recover some positions.
It would have to rain heavily and fast, though.
But it looks like the rain is definitely coming, because look how quick it's starting to come down again.
Yeah, it's...
and
DRS disabled.
Yeah, DRS is disabled!
Camo's in the pits.
Oh my god!
Camo's made the call to go a lap earlier.
And we've got a yellow flag in the 2nd sector.
Has Camo just won this race?
Camo might have just won this race, but Braver Container might just make it through.
It's going to throw him up a couple of places, but Camo with an excellent call. Camo may have just won this race with that call.
Camo might have
JSC
potentially
followed him in as well.
Let's keep an eye on Moronics and... Oh, Moronics has gone wide! And so has Easton!
Yeah, it's super wet out there now.
I have to agree with 4. This little issue between 2 people should be settled after the race.
Yeah, as we've said, we're not going to talk about it anymore. We're moving on from
Falcon Legends! Falcon
Easton
Legends,
catching Moronics. Easton crawling round.
Camo's going to do
DPS
this.
Sliding off. He's still got it's a 32-second gap.
But both Easton and Moronics has got time penalties. Camo hasn't.
Has Easton got a penalty?
Yeah, Easton's got a penalty as well.
So Camo needs to be within 3 seconds then, and he wins this race.
If not, DPS Racing is definitely going to have to pit. Camo is definitely secured 3rd place. If he can keep up this amazing pace, Camo is on for a brilliant run. Moronics is on the tyres. Oh, I just accidentally turned off
Easton gets away. Camo's too far back. He'll get
Camo's
3rd.
now just going around the last corner.
It didn't rain hard enough for him.
If Camo can stay close to Easton... Oh, Josh was retired from the session. That is not good. That is not good.
So Camo jumps into P3 then.
So Camo's within 8 seconds of Easton. We've got yellow flags in the 1st sector. Not any of the front runners.
I think it's just the back marker.
Maybe. But Braver Container back into P10. No, P9. So he made up some points again. So Braver
maybe not the
definitely
quickest strategy, but it's a strategy that pays off and it will get him points.
We both questioned why he went back out on the intermediates, because we thought it was dry for the end.
Yeah, I made the call.
That's the shortest dry spell I've ever seen.
Yeah, 3 or 4 laps.
Maybe about 6, I'd say. 5 or 6. But that's really changed the game. Moronics is still secured for the lead, because both him and Easton have time penalties, so if Camo can get close to the pair of them, maybe get past Easton, Camo might take the win. But then again, only 3 seconds to the pair. So as it stands, Moronics could win.
So the gap's 5 seconds, penalties including then.
So let's check Moronics and Easton for a second on the race director. What's their warnings looking like as well?
I am not sure.
Joshua retired from the race in the pits because he had a huge lag spike. I respect that. If you were lagging, you didn't want to endanger the race of anyone else. So I do respect that. Joshua. So I'd say that's very, very fair thinking of you. So good job, mate. Yellow flag in the 2nd sector.
I'm trying to find it.
Sorry, just cars.
Oh, yeah, it's Ace getting out of the way again. To be fair, Ace has had a fantastic way. He's not got in anyone's way. Yes, he's not been the fastest, but He's ran around in P16 for the majority of the race, and he's just not given up, which you can always applaud that.
So
Falcon's got it all wrong.
We'll
Force is going to be right on the back of him.
We'll discuss driver of the day. I'd say maybe on the last lap, because right now so many things is happening. We can't call it yet. Porter is trying to get a little look on Falcon Legends, but he's not just going to do it. Porter, another 3-second time penalty for exceeding the track limit.
I think McLaren's had a fantastic drive.
Yeah, Bodder made an
were.
amazing recovery. Bodder started 11th. And DPS Racing started 9th because obviously Fordy had a 5-second grid penalty after crashing with Tomos in the qualifying. Oops. JS Lee is 4th place. He's done really good.
Yeah, so both McLarens popping up 9 positions.
Do you
Element
have to,
jumps 9.
Do you agree with me? JS Lee, superb performance. I think he had a bit of a fallback at the beginning, you know, because he had a really bad start. No, that was Tomos, sorry. But he took advantage of everything going on, and JS Lee persisted and kept pushing through.
Yeah,
so
he has to have a good drive.
He's done a really good drive, and he could potentially go for the win. No, not the win. Maybe 3rd place with Camo, because the battle for 3rd place is only 1.3 seconds away.
Camo's dropping back off Easton, so Camo's chances of P2 are slowly fading away. 4 laps
but then again, Camo, I think he's going to save himself because he knows Jace Lee is catching him.
Yeah,
so he's going to prepare himself for the upcoming battle, because Jace Lee might just snatch 3rd place, Camo's first ever podium. We'll keep an eye on this because this could be a legendary battle here. Braver Container with a 3-second time penalty for receiving multiple warnings.
It's track extending at turn 8.
So the battles in the grid is only looking short. Falcon Legends is still battling RSF1 Porter, who actually got past Falcon Legends.
We have a yellow flag. Who's that for? It's gone already.
That was probably just a slow-moving vehicle. Ace here on his debut race in RSF1. He's not going to finish completely last in P16. Braver Container's falling back. Oh, Braver Container's slowed right down.
He got
down to 11.
He's dropped out. He's dropped 2 places.
He might have ran wide. Right, let's have a little look at Jace Lee. The battle continues. Lap 34.
He's closing in. He's really closing in. Go then. Can he? 7/10 now. Yeah, JS Lee should be about to claim a podium.
Ooh, Camo,
to cruelly snatch Camo's first podium away from him.
Camo is doing his best to defend, but looks like Jace Lee's just got a little bit more DRS. Can we see the battle going to the Schlossgold corner? No, it won't. We've got a Red Bull back marker there. Could that be harmful for Camo?
So then, here we are. Final 2 laps. Easton and Ronix doing what they've done all race, running around 3 seconds off of each other.
We've got yellow flags in the 2nd and 3rd sector. I think that's just because
taking 2 tenths out of Camo in 1 sector.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to agree with 4.
Fantastic drive.
4 says if Jace Lee gets podium, he should be driver of the day. If Jace
Lee finishes 4th, he's my driver of the day. Had a fantastic
You're happy
drive
with Jace Lee finishing where he is?
Yeah, he's had a great drive. He started 10th.
Yeah, well, here's the best part. It's not over for Jace Lee.
No,
it's still another 2 laps to go.
Half a second.
And he's back at Camo.
I just hope he doesn't send it and take them both out.
Flaming, you're okay, dude. We appreciate your apology, bro. But stuff happens. We all come out stronger as friends. All good.
Oh, that's
Moronix has got another
massive.
penalty! Moronix has got a
Massive for the
penalty!
race win.
If Easton can shut that time down, he could
He
win!
needs to take 7/10 out of him in a lap. Easton needs 7/10 in one lap to win.
But Easton's struggling. Look at him, he's falling back.
Moronix is stuck in traffic. That's the problem. He had to go around a back marker. 7/10 separates Easton from a second win in a row.
Oh my God, this is...
Lee right on the back of Camo.
On the
We've
edge
got
of my
2
seat.
battles here. 3/10.
The final
smooth.
battle.
Oh, he's got it all
Jace Lee!
wrong. He just needed to set him
That
up.
could have just cost him Jace Lee the win.
He just needed to set him up to get a good run off the turn and into turn 3, and he would have had him. Has JS Lee just thrown away a podium?
Moronix also could still potentially win. It all depends on how he plays in the last lap.
Moronix with the gap
just
up to a
get
second.
away.
Fantastic drive from both of them, though.
Camo's gone deep. So let's quickly have a look
Camo's
at
got
Moronix.
this now, I think.
So let's have a little look at Moronix because he's about to cross the line. So now, going around the second to last corner, after receiving multiple penalties, could he keep the win going across the line? We will find out now as Moronix takes the lead.
Does everything he can
takes
do.
a win in the Austrian Grand Prix. Easton finishes second place.
1.1 off.
Camo going
Camo
across
and
the last
JS Lee,
corner.
what are the positions
after
on
a
these two with
tremendous
penalties?
drive. Camo takes third place in the Austrian Grand Prix.
Wow.
And Jace Lee just misses out on the podium. Well done to McLaren. No, not McLaren. Camo.
Oh, DPS gives it back to... What, did he? No, he didn't. Don't worry.
No, Element Snow dropped up to fifth.
What, with penalty? Flipping heck, he has as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
He has.
11
Eyes
places
the
gained.
best. Another penalty. Gordy crosses 9th. Eyes crosses 10th. Braver Container.
Gets a point.
He finishes 10th. He gets a point. Well done to Braver Container for finishing in the
sticking
point.
out. Good
I'm going to have to say, as much as everyone's going to want Jace Lee, right now I'm stuck. I think it's between Jace Lee and Camo. Because Camo, it's the best race he has had all season. It's the best race I've seen from Camo all season, with third place, his first podium in RSF1, and Jace Lee after an amazing battle for third place with Camo. I'm going to need a moment to process this, but well done to Easton as well. He's taken his second podium in the league. Moronix takes the win away as he nearly just misses out on the win.
Camo had
But
no
if I'm gonna
front
have
wing
to go-
for the most of that race.
Blimey, who would you give your driver of the day to?
I'd give mine to JS Lee.
Camo,
The way
I'm
he
sorry,
drove
mate.
at the start.
You drove superbly. This is your best finish in the season, but I'm going to have to agree with Master Krog. Jace Lee is our driver of the day. So our race
What an
conclusion
entertaining race.
for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Oh, even if
Moronix
JS Lee had
takes
have
away
got
the
him.
win.
Camo would have got it anyway on penalties.
So Easton takes second place as well, so well done to Easton. Unfortunately falling back to second during the race. Camo third place, Jace Lee fourth place, Element Snow fifth, DPS Racing sixth, Bodder seventh, Duffalump 8th, 49th, Braver Container 10th, Eyes the Best 11th, Falcon Legends 12th, Porter 13th, Old Mancy 14th, Top Notch 15th, Ace Eas sticking it out to the end on 16th place, even though he was multiple laps behind the whole entire grid. And then leading up to Joshua 17th, Flaming 18th, Ted First 19th, and Tomos in 20th. So that rounds up the entire grid. And again, congratulations to the top three and Jace Lee for being our driver of the day. Master Krog, could you get our top three into the party, please?
I can try.
So we will hang on for just a moment to get the boys into the party. But yeah, Camo drove amazingly. I was going to give it to you, but Jace Lee, he he just made an amazing charge up the field, and he had amazing race pace. So Jay Sleet has to be the driver of today. Amazing pace, but I'm not going to doubt your skill, Camo. You did good today. Right, so there's... Oh, Jay Sleet, you invited Jay Sleet by accident. Jay Sleet, we finished in 4th. Let's invite Camo, Moronix, and Easton. So we'll wait for the boys to get into the party. So there's Camo, there's Moronix. Is Easton in? Oh.
Yes, you do, yeah.
You'll have to include your audio, please.
Make sure you tick the box.
So Moronix, not Moronix, Master Prog.
Right.
I do 3rd, you do 2nd, I do 1st, or how would you like to play it?
Sounds good to me.
Right, so everyone, have you included your audio element? Camo,
Think so.
Easton, and Moronix.
Dude.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. So we're going to begin with 3rd place. Camo! 3rd place, your best finish in RSF1. You had amazing qualifying pace. You pushed it heavy in the race. We had multiple transitions from wet to intermediate to dry to intermediate again, and you came through, and that early intermediate call gave you 3rd place again, and at the end, battling with Jay Slee. I bet you're chuffed at that today, mate.
Yeah, I am. I think I've done loads of practice, so I was happy it came off, but it just all came together for once. I mean, I've been probably just as good as what my practices were, and it just all came together in the quali, and then the race just, I don't know, I felt like I had good pace in the rain and I hadn't done any practice in it, so I think I got quite lucky to be. But yeah, I'm buzzing.
Well, and also you push Renault up with some really serious points today. 15 points you've given Renault today in the constructors, so that's definitely going to help push you and your teammate Mansi, your team up the pecking order into the constructors championship. So you know that's a blooming good drive there, mate. So I will hand over now to Krog.
Cheers.
So Easton, it's not a bad record for 1st and a 2nd place. Do you think you could have gone on to win today? I mean, Moronix gave you a damn good drive, and both of you had a fantastic drive to the flag, but sadly not to be. You couldn't convert the pole, but still, 2nd's a damn good result for you guys, surely.
Yeah, it was. It was good. I actually made quite a lot of mistakes on my lap, but I managed to get a good run on my qual lap out the final corner. But the wet out at the end, when it went from wet to dry back to wet, I started to catch him on Moronix on the dry, and then the wet at the end screwed me. Just to say, but it was a good battle. He gave me a
changeable conditions.
Yeah, I gave him a good run for his money, but it wasn't quite today, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it was a great race to watch, and fantastic result for you yet again. So well done.
And just to add in there before we jump to Moronix there to interview him for the win, Easton, you had amazing pace this weekend. You know, I really was looking forward to seeing a battle this whole race day between you and Moronix in the qualifying at the beginning. You did really good, mate. So a big well done from me. And now jumping to Moronix, the man who has taken the 1st place win today, Moronix. So at the very beginning of the race, it was a battle between you and Easton, and it was just it was very messy because, you know, the amount of transitions that happened today in the race, it was difficult for you, and you also picked up a couple of penalties, but just managed to hold off Easton. But how do you feel about today? How did it go for you?
I'm quite surprised about my wet pace. The setup I had was really well. It worked well for the straights. I think that's what kind of maintained my gap to Easton. Don't know what happened with the pit stops to the inters. I think Easton stopped a lap before me, and I was able to get him on the overcut onto the inter period, and I was just able to kind of manage the gap back to him. I was struggling a little bit in the dries. the wing setup I had. It wasn't very good in the middle sector, so I was losing time there. But big hats off to Cam as well. But it went. I was able to hold them off for the final couple of laps. It was a very tactical race for what happened with all the transitions, and also congrats to Easton and Cam as well.
Cheers.
And this win for Haas, gives you some more points. I haven't had the standings yet for F3, but I'm sure this gives you a valuable point boost. I think, if I'm correct, it might put you back in the lead. I haven't had a proper look, but this is some real valuable points for you to push the championship onward to Britain. So, to the three of you, so I'll start with Camo. Camo, how do you feel about how Britain's going to go?
Terrible.
Well, we all were surprised of how Austria was like.
Yeah, to be honest, this was a fluke.
Well, you never know. You might continue. You did really good today, and
Maybe.
Amazing pace and kept third place.
Some good
Now
confidence
moving
out
to
of that.
Easton. Yeah, don't beat yourself down because you did great today. And Easton,
Yeah, cheers.
how would you feel Britain's going to go for you next week?
I think it'll go quite well. One of my stronger tracks, luckily. So.
Oh, so Moronix, you got challenged there. He's feeling confident, and we definitely know Easton's definitely no slouch. So, how would you feel about Britain, Moronix?
If it's a dry race, I feel quite confident. I'm not too sure about the wet. I've not done a lot of practice, but if it's dry, I feel quite hopeful.
Well, we're all Brits, and we know that as much as England wants to stay to one condition, it might change. But, we'll keep that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, to wrap it up, before we go over the classifications one more time, Krog, have you got any questions for the top three?
No, not really. I mean, it was a great race from the top 5 drivers. It was a great race to comment on, and of course, changing conditions proved to be a little bit of a pickle, but everyone got round it, and it was quite an entertaining race to watch. So well done, everyone.
Cheers, mate.
And to go over the top three and driver of the day one more time for you all, Moronix takes first place in Austria, followed by Easton in second place and Camo in third. And the driver of the day has gone to Jace Lee for making up such amazing positions in the track. It was close, Camo. I was going to be giving it to you because it was going to be your first podium, but Jace Lee literally just charged through the midfield, and he was even going to fight you for third place. So it had to be given to Jace Lee for. He definitely fought from the midfield, so he did a great drive. But anyways, that's been the 9th round of the RSF1 season, the final Austrian Grand Prix. We will now see you on Sunday with F2 in Britain. To remind everyone, if you'd like to tune in to our podcast tomorrow at 8 p.m, please join me, Tomo, and Top Notch, and we will hopefully see you soon. But for now, it's goodbye.